In some other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held wide-ranging talks with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa on Saturday. At the virtual summit, both leaders discussed the entire expanse of their bilateral ties with a focus on further expanding cooperation in key areas. Here's a report.
India gives special priority to the relations with Sri Lanka under its Neighbourhood First policy, said Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the virtual bilateral summit with his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Rajapaksa. Modi said he was confident that the massive electoral victory of the ruling party in Sri Lanka, backed by the Rajapaksa government's policies, will facilitate deeper cooperation between the two countries.
भारत और श्रीलंका संबंधों में एक नए ऐतिहासिक अध्याय को जोड़ने का बहुत अच्छा अवसर बना है। दोनों देशों के लोग नई आशा और उत्साह के साथ हमारी ओर देख रहे हैं।
कोविड महामारी के ये वैश्विक महामारी की वजह हमारा अर्थव्यवस्था, श्रीलंकी अर्थव्यवस्था, भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था टूट गई थी। उसे ऊपर उठाने की शक्ति भारत से हम मांग रहे हैं और भारत की सरकार उसके लिए हमें सहायता दे रहे हैं।
During the talks, Prime Minister Modi announced a grant assistance of $15 million for the promotion of Buddhist ties with Sri Lanka. During a discussion on trade ties, Prime Minister Modi conveyed to his Sri Lankan counterpart that he hopes Colombo relaxes temporary restrictions on the import of a few Indian products. India also proposed launching a bilateral air bubble with Sri Lanka for travel between the two countries. India is also currently discussing Sri Lanka's request for the $1.1 billion bilateral currency swap, besides the issue of deferring the debt repayments by Sri Lanka. The issue of devolution of powers by the Sri Lankan government to the minority Tamils in the island also figured prominently in the talks. Prime Minister Modi emphasized on the full implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Sri Lankan Constitution, saying it is essential for the peace and reconciliation process. Both sides also exchanged views on the fishermen issue and agreed to continue and strengthen the ongoing constructive and humanitarian approach of dealing with it. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, Modi and Rajapaksa expressed satisfaction over robustness of defence cooperation and agreed to further strengthen maritime security ties. Rajapaksa also made a special mention of the Jaffna Cultural Centre, an iconic project built with Indian assistance. The centre is almost ready, and Prime Minister Rajapaksa extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate the project. India will also facilitate the visit of a delegation of Buddhist pilgrims from Sri Lanka on the first inaugural flight to Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh.
Both leaders agreed to strengthen cooperation in the areas of agriculture, animal husbandry, science and technology, healthcare, Ayush, as well as skill development, particularly by increasing training of professionals, thereby realizing the full potential of the demographic dividend in both countries.
The virtual summit was Prime Minister Modi's first such bilateral engagement with a leader of a neighbouring country. For Rajapaksa, it was the first diplomatic engagement with a leader of a foreign country after being sworn in as Prime Minister. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla also took part in the meeting. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.